Yeah. Okay, well, we are going to go ahead and get started. I want to introduce myself. I'm Hannah McCoy. I lead growth marketing here at GoodTime, and we are so excited for today's discussion, introducing our AI agent and your coordinator assistant, Cori. Today, we are joined by Jasper, our co-founder and CPO, as well as John Bruno, our director of solution engineering. We're going to get started in just a minute. Quick run of show. Um, Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here. Just a quick housekeeping items. You all will receive this recording after today's session before you head into the long weekend. We do have chat disabled, but we have Q&A enabled. Feel free to use that throughout today's discussion. We are going to try to get through our run of show today, and then we'll get all questions answered at the end. Happy to share the question and answers with all participants after the event as well. First, we're going to kick it to Jasper to really set the stage of giving us the backstory as to why Cori, how did we get to creating her, and why now. We'll also show a quick little video about Cori, and then we'll pass it to John Bruno to start demoing Cori. With that, I will pass it to Jasper to get us started.
Thank you so much, Hannah. Hi, nice to meet everybody. For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Jasper, one of the co-founders of GoodTime. I work very closely with the product engineering design teams to build out the products here at GoodTime. Legal will require me to splash this on the screen for a few seconds, but I think that's probably enough. Maybe we can go ahead and jump straight into the demos. All right. So hiring teams are under more pressure than ever before. Teams are being asked to move faster with smaller organizations, while candidate volumes continue to rise with AI-assisted applications. But the real challenge isn't just sourcing talent anymore, it's growing coordination and the complexity behind every hire. Recruiters and coordinators are spending too much of their time chasing calendars, resolving conflicts, and keeping processes moving forward manually. And the talent industry has adopted AI rapidly, but the operational bottlenecks that slow hiring still exist because execution and coordination remain fragmented. Do you mind moving to the next slide? Most AI tools today wait for people to tell them what to do. They wait for prompts, and then they'll generate responses, summarize text, or automate planned tasks. Cori works differently. Cori continuously monitors the hiring flow and notices when something needs attention, whether that's a scheduling conflict, an interviewer decline, a stall process, or even a missed follow-up. Instead of waiting for someone to manually coordinate the next steps, Cori actively helps keep the process moving forward. And that shift from AI that waits to AI that orchestrates is the foundation of what we're building today. Hiring teams spend too much time keeping the process moving, often while managing larger workloads with smaller teams. Recruiters, interviewers, candidates, calendars, ATS systems, communication tools, all of these things need to stay aligned while people's schedules and priorities are constantly changing. Every scheduling change, delayed response, or missed follow-up creates ripple effects across the hiring process. And as hiring organizations become more global and candidate volume increases with AI assistance, those coordination challenges compound very quickly. And what used to be managed manually is becoming increasingly difficult to sustain at scale. And that's why we built Cori. Cori is designed to act as an operational orchestration layer for hiring teams, not just helping summarize text or answer questions, but actively coordinating workflows across recruiters, interviewers, candidates, calendars, ATS platforms, and communication systems. And the goal is really simple. Reduce operational drag so hiring teams can spend more time focused on people instead of the logistics. And we have a quick video that we want to show you before we dive into some more demos.
An AI agent shouldn't be another tool for hiring teams to manage. It should feel like a teammate getting the work done alongside you. Meet Cori, GoodTime's AI agent that handles hiring coordination end to end. Cori doesn't have to wait for a prompt. She identifies what needs to happen and simply makes it happen, handling what's planned, adapting to what isn't, keeping everything and everyone on track. Whatever it takes to keep hiring moving, no matter what gets thrown at her, she handles it. She's always on, running coordination behind the scenes, and available to help everyone involved in the hiring journey, connecting candidates, interviewers, and your talent team. And through it all, you're never out of the loop. Every action is visible, every decision is clear, you stay in control while Cori handles the busy work. And teams are already seeing the difference. Less coordination, more momentum. And most importantly, more time for what actually matters, your people. This is what an AI agent should be. Not a tool you use, but someone who works with you. That's Cori. This is how hiring gets done. Meet Cori at goodtime.io/Cori.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Hannah. And let's move on. I have a few more slides, and then before I pass it over to John to do a quick demo for us.
Yep, just getting it pulled up 1 second.
Awesome. So Cori keeps hiring moving. She continuously handles many of the operational coordination tasks that consumes recruiters and coordinators' time today. And that includes scheduling, rescheduling, following up with interviewers, detecting stall workflows, resolving conflicts, and keeping communications synchronized across all systems and participants. The important distinction is that Cori is not just surfacing information or generating recommendations. Cori is actively helping coordinate execution across the hiring process while still keeping humans in control of decisions and approvals. I think that's an important note to make is Cori is not designed to replace human judgment. Hiring decisions, candidate evaluations, and relationship building remains deeply human responsibilities, and we have engineered and thought about that as we build out functionality in Cori. What Cori helps remove is the operational coordination burden that often prevents teams from spending enough time to do those higher value interactions. And the goal is not autonomous hiring. The goal is really helping hiring teams operate more effectively at scale. And the future is not just more dashboards or more interfaces. It's actually just fewer operational bottlenecks. We believe that future of hiring operations will look fundamentally different from today. The organizations that succeed, they're not going to simply have more AI tools. They will have more coordinated systems, systems that continuously help keep hiring moving, reduce operational friction, improve consistency, and free teams from having to defocus on candidates and really focus on building relationships and hiring decisions. And with that, let's show you what this looks like in practice with Cori. I'd love to welcome John Bruno to the stage to host a live demo.
All right. Thank you, Jasper. So hi, everybody. John Bruno. I'm the Director of Solutioning here at GoodTime, and I'm going to walk you through a quick demo of Cori. Now, as Jasper mentioned, he sort of gave you the thematic things that Cori is going to help you with, and I'm hoping to bring that to life a little bit. So let me share out my screen and just confirm everybody can see this. Hannah, are we good? Yep. All right. Beautiful.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so we're going to kick things off sort of at the beginning. So Cori lives throughout the entire GoodTime platform. And for those folks who are maybe new to GoodTime, I will layer in some baseline information beyond just Cori. But GoodTime primarily focuses on improving scheduling, automating the scheduling process. And because of that, we've built out an entire tool set and a huge platform that does a ton of different pieces of this. So part of that is everything from building out templates for your different types of interviews, whether that's a recruiter screen, a hiring manager interview, or even more complex things down the line. We've built out a ton of different automations and features. And Cori basically lives as an agentic layer over that. One of the things you'll see across different agentic tools that are hitting the marketplace is they all have all of these fancy things that they think they can do, but an agent is only as good as the underlying tool set. And I think that's what makes GoodTime very, very strong. So we're going to begin here with Cori at the very beginning of the process. So what we're looking at right now is what we call our job pipeline screen. And this effectively, in this demo, you'll see me using Greenhouse, but it is useful to understand that GoodTime works with 7 different ATSs, soon to be 8. So this will be a functionality you'll see sort of expand out across the different ATSs we support. But in this particular case, we have this webinar presenter job. And what Cori has done is she's actually ingested it from our ATS. So she's pulled in the job description and the job details. And she's actually pulled out the requirements from that job. So she's looking at what are the must-haves based on the job description and details, what are the ideal things that we look for in a candidate, and what are maybe our nice-to-haves or our bonus qualifications. And you can see that we've got Cori AI Match turned on for this particular job. So what that means is that Cori, as candidates flow into this job, she is going to automatically review those candidates and sort of bucket them out into different stages here, or different buckets. So if we click into one of the candidates here, we can see where Cori looked at that candidate, reviewed their resume or CV, and then compared that to the job description. And one additional thing I actually should back up and just mention, we don't have to 100% rely on Cori to decide what's important and what's not. So I do want to call out that you can move these items around. So if we want to drag and drop these requirements around, or we want to add new ones that maybe weren't part of the job description, we can do that as well, and Cori will take that into consideration. Jumping back though to the review, Cori will give us her recommendation. So why does she think this candidate's a good fit, or why does she think the candidate's not a good fit? To Jasper's original point, we want to keep this human-centric. So we're not auto-declining people. Like Cori will not disposition your candidates and decline them and send them a rejection letter, but she will tell you why she thinks maybe they're not a great fit for this particular role. And then you can make your ultimate decision. One other thing I'll just call out while we're on the screen is we do have these really nice advanced reject options. We can cycle through our candidates. So if we're in certain ATSs where maybe reviewing candidates is not super easy, GoodTime makes it really, really easy to kind of cycle through our candidates and see why Cori's recommending or not recommending these people as we go through. And we can review their actual full resume, and we will follow whatever rules the ATS has in place. So these individual stages we're seeing are actually based on what we have in the ATS itself. Now, that's not all that Cori is doing here. She's not just reviewing our applicants and giving us her recommendation. She's also tying automations to each of these stages. So as an example, if we wanted to, as Cori comes in and she recommends, as candidates come in and Cori recommends them to us, Cori can take actions on that. So in this particular example, if we wanted to, wherever Cori recommends a candidate, we can have her automatically move them to the next stage, in this case, the recruiter screen. So in this imaginary workflow, Cori could recommend a candidate, slide them over to our recruiter screen stage, and then send out a recruiter screen request. So take that recruiter's availability from that job, in this case, Greenhouse, and automatically send that recruiter's availability out to the candidate. And then once the candidate chooses their slots, automatically book it. And we'll actually see that live here in just a second. But I do want to call out, Cori can automate every single stage along the way if we wanted her to. So that could be, sending out an interview, sending out a recruiter screen request, sending out an email for maybe an assessment, or even more complex hiring manager interview or panel interview setups. So today, we're not going to get fully into all of the different scheduling options that GoodTime supports, but we support everything from the basic recruiter screens all the way up to the most complex interview series. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this actually looks like for Cori to kick off a scheduling process for a candidate. So I'm going to take our candidate maybe here, and I'm going to move her into a recruiter screen stage here. So this is something that Cori could automate for us, but in this case, I'm actually going to move her myself. We want to keep this a little bit more human-centric. So I've moved maybe here into this recruiter screen. And if we jump over to maybe's email here, momentarily. It does take a second for Cori to work her magic. But in a second here, we should see a nice little email pop over for maybe, and there it is. So we got this nice little request. For those of you in the audience who are not familiar with GoodTime, this would typically be branded with your domain, your email, all of your branding for your business, including button colors and logos and all that good stuff. In this case, we're obviously using the GoodTime branding to match our backgrounds. But I'm going to go ahead and come in and find a time. So as the candidate, I'm going to come in to a nice branded mobile responsive portal that adjusts to my language and my time zone. And I'm going to be able to pick slots directly off that recruiter's calendar. So this is the availability right from my recruiter's calendar. I can come in and let's actually pick something a little bit further in the future. So this is live building the recruiter's availability. I'm going to pick a couple slots here, hit schedule. And now Cori's going to go ahead and book that. She's going to send out the invites to all of the participants. We get a nice little interview confirmed, and we have now booked on the candidate. We've sent them a unique invite, and we've sent our interviewer, in this case, the recruiter, a nice little invite. And that's it. So we have just automated that nice little recruiter screen. Now that was a basic interview with one person. We can do that all the way up to the most complex, and we'll see a couple examples of that as well. So that is how Cori kicks off the scheduling process in an automated fashion. As mentioned, she can do that in multiple steps in the process. Now, one other area that I want to call out is once we book that interview, Cori does not just support, so she'll send us this nice little confirmation email, but Cori does not just support our recruiting and coordinating team, and we'll take a look at a couple more ways that she does that along the journey. But the other piece here is Cori can actually support your candidates as well. So one of the things GoodTime offers is these interview portals where we can consolidate everything that's happening as part of the interview process and give the candidate a really clean mobile responsive portal adjusted to their time zone and language where they can see what they have coming up. So in this case, we can see that we've given maybe some interview prep. So we've given her a nice little video to watch, some content she can read, different things about the interview that she's got coming up. We can also tell her who her interviewers are, maybe even link to their LinkedIn profile, show her where she is in the interview process, and provide a bunch of different details that might be useful. Cori, though, is also on this page. So we can train Cori up. So every customer can train Cori up with whatever content you want to include for her. So it might be details on what the interview process looks like. It might be details on what the job entails. It might just be your company health benefits and PTO policy and that kind of stuff. So as an example, let's say the candidate's here and she's a little bit nervous for her interview and she wants to know what does the interview process entail? And she can ask Cori that. And if we've provided Cori with that information, Cori can come back and actually answer these questions. So we use frontier models to help answer questions like this. And maybe, that's great. And Cori also wants to know, she's got questions around the PTO, like what is the time off policy? And now this is specific to our business. So all these answers are specific to our business and what we offer. And in this case, Cori can answer questions like that. So the goal here is that Cori is not just helping our internal team, Cori is also helping our candidates. And she's answering questions and she's taking away some of that burden that your team might be having to deal with on a daily basis. And she's also working at 2 a.m. So whenever the candidate needs her, she's there for the candidate. One other thing I would note about this is Cori can also help with things like rescheduling, or if there's any kind of conflict in the interview that was set, Cori can help with that kind of stuff as well. Okay, so moving along here, the next thing we're going to sort of talk about, and this is one of my favorite features, and we are going to use Greenhouse in this example, but this will be coming to all of our ATS partners as well. But one of the cool things that Cori can also do, and we're going to keep with the Arrested Development cast theme for this candidate. So one of the really cool things that Cori can do is voice queuing. Now, voice queuing is cool because it can either hand off to, let's say, a coordinator or a coordination team, or Cori can actually schedule interviews for you. So in this example, we've got Barry here, and let's say he has moved to something like a hiring manager interview. So I can say something like, hey, Cori, please schedule a 45-minute interview with John Bruno. And our candidate Barry said that he's available next Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So I can give a whole range of things. You can see that Cori pretty seamlessly captured most of that, although she did get Canada. So that's probably me losing my voice. So Barry. So you can see that I can do a nice little update here, and I can have Cori actually build this plan. Now, in this case, I kept Cori on manual. So what Cori's going to actually do is she's going to hand this off to the coordinator on this job. However, as mentioned, if I wanted to, I could have Cori just immediately reach out to Barry and grab, you can see where we got 45 minutes correctly captured with John Bruno next Friday at 2 p.m. So Cori managed to capture all of that data. She's now going to hand that off to our coordinator. So once again, this could be used for simple queuing into a coordination group or person, or this could be used to actually schedule interviews. So I'm going to go ahead and hit hand off to Cori, and that has now been handed off to the platform. So if we, and I see the chat popping off, I apologize, I'm not looking at that. I hope Jasper and Tim, or maybe, I'm sure you guys got it. All right, so let's jump into the platform itself, and we're going to talk about a couple additional pieces here before I wrap up. So you can actually see down here, Cori's been busy. We've got a few different things that Cori's been working on. So I want to walk through some of the different things that Cori can do to help out the coordination team. So some of those things, you'll see a request here. This is a slightly older one that I did yesterday. But this shows actually a multi-part. So rather than just booking one person, I actually gave 3 different people across 2 different interviews in that voice chat that I wanted Cori to pick up and run with. So if I open this up, we can see what one of these interviews looked like. I was the coordinator on the job, so this got handed off to me. But you'll see we actually had Jace Archer and Emily Pancake, and a secondary interview with Madison. So if you folks are on this call, you've got an interview coming up here. And you can see I can easily kick this off into a request for availability. Let's actually take a look though at that one that I just did. So if we come back here, it should be down here at the bottom because it just came in. Yep, you'll see this is the candidate, Barry Zuckerkorn, and John Bruno just queued an interview request to you. So I queued an interview request to myself because I'm both the recruiter and the coordinator in this one. But we'll get this nice little interview automatically created for us. And once again, if we wanted this to be automated, we could have just had this automatically go out via Cori. So that's one of the cool things that Cori can do, that voice capture and voice queuing. Cori can do a bunch of additional things though too. So some of those different things that Cori can do is automatically replace interviewers. And I want to tackle sort of 2 things in this example. So in this particular one, we had an interviewer named Baymax who declined the interview, and we automatically took one of the alternative interviewers. So for those folks who are not familiar with GoodTime, one of the things we can do is set up interview pools and alternative interviewers and plans. So if multiple people could potentially fill the role of an interviewer, we can set that up on our template. What Cori can do based on that is look at if one of the interviewers declines, she can automatically reach out to other interviewers via Slack or Teams and see if they are available to pick up the interview. Right from that message, they can say yes or no, and Cori will actually automatically swap those people out. So in this example, and Cori is telling us exactly what happened, what she did, and why she chose that option. So here she said Baymax declined the interview. So she reached out to various other alternative interviewers that were set on that template. And Peter Lee actually said that he could replace Baymax on that interview. So she kept the same time slot and she replaced the interviewer and then sent an update to the candidate. So that's one example of some of the things that Cori can do. She can auto swap interviewers. And then in other examples, and I'll show you a live one right here, Cori can actually, if there are no alternates, so let's say it's a single hiring manager on an interview on a particular job, the hiring manager declines, Cori can automatically swap and pick new availability with the candidate. So either reach out to the candidate and ask for additional slots, or Cori can, if the candidate had originally provided additional slots, just grab one of the additional ones. So in this case, Cori is asking me if I want to do this because I've got this set to manual. So all I would have to do is hit the reschedule button. It's going to pop up the reschedule message. I click send, and the candidate will be prompted So we'll say, yes, reschedule the interview for 6/4 at 8:50. That was an additional time that Barry had picked. And Cori says, perfect. I've reached out to Barry and rescheduled. And I can then jump to the next thing that I want to do. And Cori will now tell me what happened, what I did, why I chose that option. So explainability is a super important part of this. And in this particular example, we're letting the human coordinator still maintain control and decide. So Cori is giving us a lot of automation and doing a lot of things for us, but we still remain in control of everything Cori's doing. Now, the final thing I just want to highlight real quick, because this will highlight some of the things that Cori can do, but also the level of control that we can maintain. All of these things are optional. So we can have Cori do the things we want her to do and none of the things we don't. And we also have control over whether it's automated or whether there's some manual control in place. So as an example here, interviewer replacement. Maybe we want Cori to automatically replace people, so we can set her to auto replace and she'll just handle it for us. Or we can use that require review, which is what you saw me using here. Additionally, for rescheduling, we could have Cori review first and give us the option of rescheduling or not, or we can just let Cori automatically handle that reschedule. Same thing with interviewer communications. We can determine, do we want it via Slack, via email, via Teams? We have different configuration options for how we send out this messaging and how we communicate with different internal team members. All of that is configurable as well. And then finally, interview scheduling. So that was that initial piece that we saw where I used the voice queuing function to hand off to the coordinator. In this case, I've got it set to review first. So it's going to tell us, hey, we got this queue. What do you want to do? And we can manually send it, or we can turn it on auto and Cori would just automatically shoot that out. So I know I'm probably over we're actually pretty good on time. Okay, so let me pause here. Those are some of the major things that I wanted to highlight. Should we take some questions, Hannah? How are we doing on the chat?
Yeah, let's do it. Keyboard warrior Jasper has been answering a lot, but
Okay.
I think there's a couple that have been answered that we could maybe cover live.
Okay.
Let's go over those first. Um, yeah, when you were interacting with Cori, John, if Cori doesn't have an answer, how is that facilitated? Where do those questions get fielded?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I don't know if we want to elaborate on that one. Jasper, did you have
I can just do a
a question?
quick, yeah, because I know that there's actually a lot more questions here. But essentially, whenever Corey doesn't know the answer, basically it'll ping that over into your messaging center, which is found in the automation tab there, and that will show up as a blank. Your teammates can respond to that, like a human being can respond to that. Also, you can take that unanswered question and add it to the agent knowledge base. Do you mind clicking on agents really? Yeah, this is the message center right here. If you click on the agent's knowledge base right there, there's a questions tab right there also. So for questions that Corey couldn't answer, you can actually add them here manually, in addition to the existing knowledge base of websites and different articles that you upload that provide Corey with knowledge. You can also supplement like very direct questions here as well too, and then Corey will be able to answer them moving forward, which will over time reduce the overall questions that your team will have to answer manually.
Awesome. Sana asked, is there documentation for all actions that Corey takes in or outside your ATS?
Yes, absolutely. So one of the big tenets of the project was actually we need to make it very obvious what Corey is doing for you, and when Corey is stepping in to make certain types of decisions. And so you'll have a full log here. Uh, we will be presenting in a later presentation this year, a full history log system. This one is like kind of you can see already like it's starting to populate here where Corey takes actions.
Yep. And I do want to just highlight while we're here. So you can see some of the additional things that Cori is doing, like sending Slack reminders to people, asking them if they can swap in as an interviewer, letting people know that an interview has been updated because of a decline. Any of those different things, you can see where an individual user has taken action and who that user was, or whether it was Cori that took that action and it's time and date stamped and the exact action that was taken.
Nice. That's a timely for the next one. Rukvith asks, how often does Cori ping an interview via Slack if they don't respond at first? Can that be configured?
Yep. Yeah, so that is 100% configurable, and it's going to be based on the interview template itself.
Okay, great. Lots of questions on, is Cori automatically in GoodTime? Is Cori an add-on or a package? Jasper, do you want to take this one first?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we decided early on that Cori is too valuable to exclude, but we still have a lot of customers on our legacy packages. So Cori represents all automation and AI capabilities within GoodTime. And so some of the functions that you're seeing here today, you already have access to today. But some of the other functions that you don't have access to are going to be part of our, upon renewal, basically, you have an option of signing up for newer packages. And if you upgrade to our newer packages, they all include everything that you're seeing here about Cori, with the exception of, I think, the Cori and the candidate portal, which that one is part of the Experience Plus package, but everything else you see here will be available to all new package customers. So
Perfect.
yeah, and if you're interested in upgrading to the new package sooner than your renewal time, please reach out to your CSM. They can actually figure out a way to cut you guys a good deal beforehand as well too. So we'd love to see all of you guys being able to take advantage of these amazing features and upon renewal be easily accessible. But like I mentioned, if you don't want to wait till then, please reach out to your CSM.
Nice. Yeah, I was just going to mention that too. Jasper, I personally have a question for you off that. If a customer wants to enable deeper Cori capabilities today, what's the best step to do so?
Yeah, I think step one, reach out to your CSM. They're going to kick off the entire process, make sure that you have the right packaging available so the features are turned on. And then they'll also set up some time if you guys need to meet with members of the product team or members of our implementation team that can help you guys get set up and understand all of the different features inside of Core that are available to you, in addition to webinars and these other things where we're supplementing learning materials and stuff like that. This will be a really great way for you guys to kick it off.
Great. Anonymous asks, how are you handling when a candidate wants to opt in or out of AI usage?
Oh, that's a great question. Um, so there are different types of AI usage that they can opt in and out of. Right now, the primary segments that will concern their ability to opt in and out of will probably be the candidate matching components. And so right now, most customers are handling it through messaging inside of their email communications that are going out. But more on this later as we continue to develop more functionality, which kind of crosses the threshold of, candidates' privacy. We will be adding more kind of built-in functionality to enable your candidates to control how much Corey is being able to kind of pry into their information in order to make decisions. But also, one key distinction that I want to repeat is that at no point in time is Corey responsible for making hiring decisions at your organization. That is the responsibility, we believe, of your human counterparts that are on the team. Corey really is here to help facilitate and automate most of the orchestration around the operational work and administrative work that's involved in the hiring process.
Great. Another technical one, John, maybe for you. Anonymous asks, can Corey put interviews on hold and reach out to the candidate before confirming the session?
Yes. So that's one of the things I did not get a chance to show today. But you can see we have some of these on hold. So yes, all of the different template options that GoodTime offers, which are basically scheduled automatically, hold and wait for interviewer confirmation, and then message the candidate, and then full require review. All of them work in different ways with Cori. So the short answer to that question, though, is yes, 100%. Yep.
Nice. Shout out to you guys for the great questions coming in. Keep them coming. Um, Anonymous, excuse me, I'm also losing my voice. In short notice cancellation, would Corey be able to handle those cases as well, for the interviewer declining within an hour time frame, for example? John?
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the major use cases that Cori was developed for. So GoodTime for a long time has had the ability to reschedule and swap things when it's further out. Cori's able to do it much closer because she will live ping people in Slack to see if she can get a replacement. Now, your team can set up, rules and different configurations to determine how close to an interview will Cori actually try and swap before just switching to rescheduling. So that once again is set based on the template settings. But Cori will, try and reschedule up to, I don't know, Tim, do we have like an actual deadline? Like, is there
Uh,
actually like a cutoff time?
for reschedules, I think that's still in progress. For auto replaces, we do have a cutoff time for how close that typically happens. So, yeah.
Okay. Do we know what it is? Because the example was would Cori be able to handle those cases for AG the interviewer declined 1 hour before the scheduled time? I think 1 hour is definitely doable, but I don't know if there's like, is it 5 minutes or something? Do we know?
Currently, it's just a setting that we have right now, but as we continue to roll out more function on Cori, I think that will be something that teams will be able to configure themselves.
Okay, cool.
Great. More technical questions for you, John. Will Corey be able to notify if a candidate is providing availability for a single day versus a multi-day? Coordinators are unable to differentiate currently once availability is received.
Will Corey be able to, sorry, I'm rereading that. Will Corey be able to notify? I'm not sure I understand that one. T Tim or Jasper, do you?
Sorry, I'm was answering another question in line, but
Yeah,
what
I'm
was
just
the
typing answers too. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's will Corey be able to notify if a candidate is providing availability for a single day versus multi-day, as coordinators are unable to differentiate currently once availability is received? I'm trying to understand that
Oh,
scenario.
I see. Yes, because when multi-day availability is given, it'll be given, for example, if the total interview time is 5 hours, a multi-day will be typically like 2 plus 3 or 2.5 plus 2.5 or something like that. So that should be differentiable for sure, and it'll be considered in the scheduling scenario as well.
Thanks, Tim. Anonymous, y'all are welcome to come off anonymous too. We would love to back channel with you if you have more questions. Can Corey attach things like documentation and NDA, dozery?
Yeah, so Corey, one of the really nice things about Corey is Corey kind of operates like a teammate that's using GoodTime. So anything that you can do in GoodTime, Corey can also do. So all your templates that already have, like your email templates that already have, you know, PDFs or documents attached to those, Corey can send out the exact same templates that you would normally be having to manually send out. So all of that comes, you know, all bells and whistles included.
Great. How does Corey work with interviewers in training paths? I know training paths is a hot topic in our product webinars. Tim, maybe you take this one?
Was there
Yeah,
someone in the
absolutely. So, similar questions have come up before, like can Corey work with interview blocks, etc. And the answer is yes. So, if Corey is been tasked or has figured out that she needs to work with an interview that's linked to a certain template, and that template has been set up with a training path, etc., then absolutely it'll pull in those trainees accordingly, and everything will work as it has historically. So, it'll absolutely work with trainees in that sense.
Yeah, there will be more future enhancements that enable other types of interactions with the trainees. At this time, we are taking requests. So if you are a active customer, you know where our product portal is. Please submit those requests. You know, Corey's constantly growing her capabilities. So we'd love to understand which types of capabilities you'd like us to focus on first.
Great. Does Corey have the ability to schedule a full loop interview that has a mix of virtual and on-site interviews? John?
Yes, yeah, and this sort of comes back to what we were talking about with the other things, like with adding attachments or interviewer training paths and shadows and that kind of stuff. Corey is really leveraging the existing templates within the system. So for folks that maybe have not used GoodTime before, I had mentioned the templates at the very beginning, but for anybody else who maybe is a user, anything you're able to, or most things that you're able to do today with your templates are also leverageable by Cori. So to Jasper's point, Cori is like a teammate and has access to the things in GoodTime that most of the other users have.
Great. Rachel, can Corey create full interview templates for us?
So Cori doesn't, well, I guess, I don't know, Jasper, Tim, do you want to answer that one? Cori doesn't fully create templates. She's largely leveraging templates you already have, but I think there is some limited ability, right?
We'll,
Something?
we'll be announcing something pretty big coming up pretty soon that will be related to that topic, but I can't say today. But yes, there's something coming down the pipe.
Nice. Good teaser. Similar to templates, how does Corey know which template to use for what role?
Yeah, so Cori will initially try and use whatever templates you have set on a job. So, for example, if I have certain templates that I use frequently, or there are certain templates that are already preset to stages, let's say on this webinar presenter job, this is the greenhouse example, but it's similar in other ATSs. Cori's going to try to leverage those based on what stage the candidate is and what job they're in. She'll try and leverage the existing templates there. Otherwise, she will look at the other templates that you frequently use and seem appropriate for the situation.
Great. Drew, I see your question. If the recommended next steps for a candidate is off, can we train Corey on why?
I do not know the answer to that one. Jasper, Tim, did you hear that one?
I was going to ask if Drew, if you're still on, do you mind adding a little bit of clarification to this in particular? Um, Maybe just an example of like what types of recommended next steps are off for a particular candidate might be really good to help us answer this question. Apologies, I was staring at this question for a while trying to figure out how I could answer it for you. But yeah, if you're still on, we'd love any clarification that you could add. You can add it as another question below, and we'll take it from there.
Great. Jasper, maybe back to you. Katie is asking, how does the AI talent matching from Good Time compare to Greenhouse's version?
Ooh, asking us to do compare babies. Um, I can just tell you what we really focus on. Uh, what we've learned through our working with our customers closely is that instead of job specifications being static, we've learned that as candidates go through the pipeline, hiring managers learn more, they communicate with their recruiters, and information about that changes over time. And so the ability to quickly reassess your candidate pool against changing requirements is a critical component inside of our system. And it's very, very easy if you're inside of the job specifications tab. Updating and changing one of the requirements is very, very simple. And then also we kind of subscribe to the belief that um, you know, there's a little bit of magic in every decision that recruiters make. And some of them are black and white, like the job specifications, and some of them aren't. And so over time, if you are progressing candidates through the system that don't score as highly, we will learn from your decisions and make adjustments to how our system internally ranks these candidates and places them into the right buckets. So these just kind of adaptive systems that understand that change is a constant thing in recruiting. I think that in general differs from some other products that might be out on the market.
Well said. I'm so many questions coming in. I think this
Yeah.
is a follow-up from a previous one, but just want to make sure we answered
Oh,
it.
yes.
How is the system handling candidate preferences when the system is fully automated? For example, if they send a mix of single and multi-day, but they would like to have interviews split over 3 days. I think we covered that one, but just want to make sure.
Yeah, we may have covered that one, but just a quick recap on that one. Yes, if the 3-day options aren't provided, actually the candidate can chat now with Corey and then just tell them when they're available, and Corey will negotiate a schedule that fits in with them if it's available. If it's not, we'll submit the availability for human review if just nothing is possible between the candidate's availability and what's available there.
Nicole asks, can Cori mention the assigned recruiter on a scheduling request if we need them to?
For example,
Yeah,
use
sometimes we
event of
have
a candidate.
candidates that haven't responded to our availability requests, so we sometimes have to mention them, mention the
Oh,
recruiter asking if they've heard of the candidate before.
yeah, that's a great suggestion. Right now, Cori doesn't do that. Cori kind of just manages the nagging of the candidate herself. But I can see how this would be awesome. Nicole, thank you so much for the idea. This might be something that we send over quickly to the team to see if they can help out with this.
Great. Drew, welcome back to the chat. Drew says, in my experience, AI doesn't do a great job of determining if a resume is qualified or not. If Corey suggests that we move forward with a candidate, but the candidate isn't qualified, is there a way to train Corey to learn what we are looking for?
So I pulled up this screen specifically for Drew's question because I did not mention this in the initial pass of this, but yeah, I think one of the nice things about our platform versus others is you have direct ability to calibrate this stuff. So this was Corey's pass at what the requirements are and how things should be, ranked in terms of how important it is. You can easily adjust these, move these around, add your own requirements, change these things, and then you can have it reevaluate all of the candidates. All of the candidates total, the ones in the particular like initial application review stage, the ones that haven't been scored yet, or you can choose not to rerun it and just as new people come in, they'll get ranked. So I think this is a unique part to GoodTime is you can specifically define how Cori ranks and rates these people and adjust this on the fly. And then even if, let's say, people are flowing in and you don't like the way Cori is, sort of identifying the pros and cons of people, you can adjust it on the fly and rerun all the candidates again. So it's a really nice system.
Yeah, just adding a quick add to that, just best practices. It's, this is really new, but we've had some teams really engage with this and we've seen how they've utilized the system. One of the best practices I've seen is a recruiter that has been using this aggressively. Basically, what they do is they will tweak the job specifications before they allow Corey to start automating scheduling and doing all these things. And essentially, what they'll do is they'll tweak it until like everything in recommended is something that they felt like they would recommend. And then once that's good to go, it's on Rails. They'll send a few candidates over manually to the hiring manager to see if they look good, capture that feedback, re-enter it into the system, and then once everything is perfect, then they send it on Rails. And one of the things is, if you want, you can be overly aggressive and send more things to review, so that you can manually review that at the beginning if you still want to get your pipeline kicked off quickly. Otherwise, if you've dialed it in and get it right, then yeah, the individuals that at the organization that are doing that, they basically um, spend a little bit of time up front dialing it in, and once it's dialed in, they let it rip and let Corey take over all the transition automations and stuff like that, so that hiring then basically is just a matter of showing up for your candidates and making sure that your team does as well.
Renata, thank you for your question. This is a good one. Is there any chance Corey could reach out to me or a designated person, like an EA, to let us know when we need more calendar space or flag it before we run out?
This is top of my list, Renata. I'm with you. I really like this one. We get asked this a lot. Can Corey reach out to like EAs to help with scheduling, that kind of stuff? So this would be interviewer, like reaching out to interviewers to get availability. Um, what do we think?
I've already sent it to the team to look into,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, so we're gonna do this, Renata.
Thanks,
We're doing that
Renata.
one.
Um, Marissa, thanks for your question. Can Corey cancel queue requests for candidates that have been rejected in Greenhouse by recruiters because they never provided availability?
Sorry,
This is not a current, I can say this is not a current thing right now, but I do think this is a valid idea.
Yeah, I think that's a really good suggestion. We haven't practiced it so far, so.
Mhm.
Great. Anonymous asks, will Cori be able to reach out to interviewers and ask if they have flexibility to meet a candidate if they already have blocks and other meetings on the calendar?
This relates to the EA one. It's the interviewer availability, like collecting interviewer availability. Constant ask, and I love it. If anybody else wants to vote on that one, throw that in the chat. It'll get the product team moving even faster. So yes, not quite yet, but that one should be coming relatively soon.
Great. Just combing through, making sure we got most of these answered. Yeah, feel free to throw in any additional questions you have. We have a couple minutes remaining. Jasper, what's the future of Cori? Would love you to take this one. I know you teased a
Yeah,
little bit.
I think we teased a little. As you can see, like Cori is incredibly powerful today in what she can do, but we think the future is very bright. As we've been exploring with our early access partners and our design program partners, what we've been discovering is even as she is automating a lot of the tasks that are available today and helping teams really kind of smooth out the operations, there are a plethora of other things that customers need. And so we will be definitely continuing to explore in those areas. And probably that's as much as I can touch on. But if you guys are really interested in seeing the whole full unfurl, I believe in August we have a huge event going on called Moment, and I'll just use this as a moment to plug Moment. But if you're interested, there will be a bigger unveil there as well too for the additional features that we are co-developing with some of our early access partners. If you're not part of the early access program, don't fret, don't worry. You can actually sign up. Just reach out to your CSM, and they will connect you with the product organization. And we'd love to get some of your feedback here. A lot of what we built with Cori has come from direct feedback from our customers using the product. So yeah, I'd have to say, a very large portion of that is in your hands. And I think we have a very big responsibility here representing some of the leading talent organizations in the world. Like we have the ability to decide what our future looks like, and we'd love to invite you guys to participate in that.
Yeah, I also, right as Hannah read that question, I also answered it written form. The best way to figure out what the future of Cori is also to join our monthly webinars. I posted the link in the chat as well. So every month, as you have seen before, we continue to iterate on the stuff that we've released, and that will include Cori. I think Cori features have been prominently shown in the last couple of webinars, so continue to join them, and you'll see all the latest and greatest stuff.
Yeah, good call, Tim. Thanks. Okay, I will leave questions open for 10 more seconds. I think we caught everyone. If we did not flag it, we can answer it really quickly, or we will follow up after this. Okay, great. Well, this was fun. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Like I mentioned, a copy of this recording of today's session will be in your inbox in the next business day or two. If you have any questions about Cori today, feel free to reach out to your CSM. If you're interested in a deeper demo, feel free to request a demo at goodtime.io. John would love to walk you through even deeper features of Cori. And in the meantime, feel free to register for our product updates webinar. As Tim mentioned, the next one is Wednesday, June 17th. With that, we can go ahead and wrap up. I want to thank Jasper, John, Tim for being a part of this. Thank you all for the incredible engagement today. As Jasper mentioned, it helps us shape the future of GoodTime and certainly Cori. So with that, enjoy the rest of your day and we will see you at the next one. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks
Thanks,
all.
everyone.
Thank you. Have a nice day.